2016 National Signing Day has come and gone. Welcome inside Milan Puskar Stadium. A very busy day here in Morgantown. I'm Matt Hauswirth. 27 total commits, signed, sealed, and delivered. They are on their way to play football here at West Virginia University. The Mountaineers celebrated a victory last year inside Gallagher-Iba Arena. They'll be looking for more of the same tonight. Tip-off just got underway at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Good evening. Welcome to Stillwater, Oklahoma. I'm Matt Hauswirth. You know, injuries have derailed Oklahoma State's season up to this point, but trust me when I say the Cowboys would like nothing more than to deliver a loss to a West Virginia team poised to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. Welcome to the Bricktown District here in beautiful downtown Oklahoma City. Of course, we are here for the Mountaineers' big game tomorrow against the number 2 ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Tip-off in that one set for 4 p.m. Eastern Time. No team in college basketball has defeated the top 2 AP-ranked teams in the same week since 1989. Before today, the Mountaineers had a chance to do just that. After today, still, nobody has done it since 1989. But West Virginia came pretty darn close. Bob Huggins, cool, calm, and collected. That is always a good thing. And typically, that means victory, which is what occurred here in Stillwater, Oklahoma tonight. Good evening. Welcome inside Gallagher-Iba Arena. I'm Matt Hauswirth. The Mountaineers were finally at full strength, finally healthy, and it made a world of a difference. And there it was. We all remember that memorable hook shot by WVU legend Hot Rod Hundley. Of course, that was in 2010 prior to the Ohio State game. Now, about 6 years later, right here, his statue will be placed. The ceremony coming up tomorrow at 2 p.m. Good evening. Welcome to Morgantown. I'm Matt Hauswirth. This will really be a great day tomorrow. And Kaiser plays safety. He was ranked the number 1 safety in junior college football this past season. Just went on a visit within the last few weeks to USC, but still chose the Mountaineers. Stayed true to that commitment, so that's always good to see. Let's talk a little bit about these wide receivers. Steven Smothers is a guy that really stands out, a 4-star recruit. This kid was recruited by almost everybody. What did you see in him? The other thing that I really noticed on the stat sheet against the Texas Longhorns, also field goal percentage as well, but turnovers. They only turned Texas over 8 times. That's something that this press Virginia team is not accustomed to. They're accustomed to turning teams over about 20-plus times per game. That has got to go up because, as Bob Huggins says, each and every time they have got to get more shots than the opponent. If they're not turning them over, where's that coming from? Thank you very much, guys. Matt Hauswirth here, now joined alongside Tony Caridi here in Scottsdale, Arizona, ahead of the Cactus Bowl. And, Tony, let's take it all the way back to that last loss of the season against Kansas State. You know, these guys obviously were down and out after that game. They really wanted to play in an East Coast Bowl game. You know, it would have been nice, Russell Athletic Bowl, Orlando, but instead get shipped all the way out here. You've seen the guys in practice this week. Have they embraced being out here on the West Coast?
I really think so, Matt.
Well, you just stated the word family, and that really held true in this recruiting class. 2 guys that I guess the fans will notice right off the bat because they have the most stars next to their name. I know you guys don't really pay a ton of attention to that, but the fans do. Kaiser White, obviously the younger brother of Kayron and Kevin White. And then also on top of that, you got Brendan Ferns, linebacker out of St. Clairsville, Ohio. He is the younger brother of Michael Ferns, who transferred here from the University of Michigan. He did not play last year. He had to sit out. He will play this year. So you got a whole family here of players. How big was it to get both Kaiser and Brendan into this program? Let's talk a little bit first and foremost about this Mountaineer men's basketball team. You know, a lot of talk in the offseason about the rule changes and how that would change the way this press defense was run, and really hasn't changed all that much. West Virginia, number 1 in steals, number 1 in turnovers. They're doing the same old song and dance. What have you seen out of them? I'm telling you right now, what a showing it was by Mountaineer Nation here in Blacksburg, Virginia on Wednesday afternoon. The players after this game were talking to us, and they could not believe how many WVU fans hopped over the border there to come here to Virginia Tech to watch the Mountaineers play some basketball. And it's pretty unique. You don't see that all that often in college athletics, that many fans traveling to watch their team play. A final look at this class here overall, big picture, Jeff. You know, I know a lot of fans get so caught up in the star rankings and all that, but you got to remember West Virginia's had some good players, 2- and 3-star recruits Pat White, Steve Slayton, Carl Joseph, KJ Dillon, Nick Kwiatkowski. These guys were all 3-star recruits, and they panned out very, very well. These guys played like 5-star players. Jeff, thank you very much. Here outside of Chase Field, and the fans are continuing to pour in as we speak. I'll tell you what, a lot of people said this is a home game for Arizona State, right? Obviously, their campus is about 15 minutes away, but I'm telling you right now, there are a ton, and I mean a ton, of West Virginia fans making their way into the stadium. Doesn't matter where the Mountaineers are playing. Anywhere in the country, they will be there, and they're here in Phoenix, Arizona, getting ready. And the one thing I would say is that right behind the end zones, the fence is pretty darn close. So you get somebody like Shelton Gibson out there on a go route, and we know he can burn some grass. He's going to have to brace himself because we saw in that Maryland game, he went straight through and ran over a cheerleader. So let's hope that that doesn't happen, because if that does happen, he's going to be running right into a wall. Now, the Mountaineer women have won back-to-back games, but let's be honest, the real winner here is Bria Holmes. Kudos to her boyfriend, by the way. What a creative idea to propose to her on senior night, her final home game in Morgantown. We spoke with head coach Mike Carey earlier today before the team departed for Iowa State regular season finale to be played tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And really, the only way Mike Carey knew how offered some comedic relief for the entire situation. Take a look.
And I also told her, "You're crying because you're getting married." I said, "I cry every night because I am married." So I said, so we both ought to be crying.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mike Carey. You really cannot make this stuff up. I now have the pleasure to be joined alongside WVU running backs coach Jaywan Sider. And man, I must say that this guy has taken the title of phone calls and text messages in one day. You've been on your phone nonstop. Happy National Signing Day. How's it going?
It's been good, man.
It was right around this time last year. Remember, we were talking about just how cool it would be to watch college baseball in a brand new environment. The Mon County Ballpark may be the very best venue in all of college baseball, let alone the Big 12 Conference. Well, this year, head coach Randy Mazey believes the wow factor is gone, which means that should make way for an even better home field advantage. Bria Holmes did it all tonight, leading the Mountaineers to a much-needed victory over the TCU Horned Frogs. Good evening. Welcome inside the WVU Coliseum. I'm Matt Hauswirth. Of course, after losing by 23 points on the road against the 8th-ranked Texas Longhorns over the weekend, any win would have been nice. And once again, they got that tonight over TCU by the final score of 83-72. Now, prior to the game, head coach Mike Carey was honored with a jersey. As you see right there, number 600 on it. He earned his 600th career victory earlier in the season. Former athletic director Ed passed along there to hand it off to him. Pretty cool sight to see there. And let's get to the game action here. Lene Montgomery picked up 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes of the game. Enter Tiana Muldrow, and well, she picked up the slack. Had 16 points all alone in the first half. She was the difference, and the Mountaineers took a 45-43 lead into the locker room. Second half, TCU went on a huge run, went up by 13 points, but that is when, in the fourth quarter, Bria Holmes worked her magic. Head coach Mike Carey said he sat her for a little bit, and that got the competitive juices flowing. She poured in a game high, a season high, 30 points in this one. Just take a look at Bria Holmes doing it all, splitting defenders, spin moves, 3-pointers from the wing. This girl had the game of her life. Baseball transformed into football. What once seemed like an impossible feat has become somewhat routine. The Cactus Bowl recently moved from nearby Tempe, Arizona to right here in Phoenix because of ongoing renovations to Sun Devil Stadium. And as you can tell, they've done quite the job. End zone to end zone stretches from the first baseline to the left field fence. Maintenance crews had to literally remove the baseball diamond from the field in order to make it all work. Head coach Dana Holgerson is a big fan of the layout.
I've been to Chase Field, and it's a great stadium. It's going to be a first-class fan experience.
Dana Holgerson's only concern involved this stuff, the turf. Remember the last time West Virginia played in a baseball stadium? 2012, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl in Yankee Stadium. The snow was coming down in buckets. The turf was not ready for it. Terrell Chestnut suffered a torn ACL, and the Mountaineers went down 38-14 at the hands of Syracuse. But this time around, Holgerson was assured that this field is in much better shape, not only because the grounds crew is so great here at Chase Field, but also because the weather here in Phoenix. It is a great climate for this turf to really settle in, and the Mountaineers should be happy with the playing surface for the Cactus Bowl. And take a look at this. Instead of all that room in the outfield, crews inserted an extra row of bleachers for sideline seating. So that is what football inside of a baseball stadium is supposed to look like. Now, let's play some ball. Dan, I think I speak for everybody when I say we are absolutely sick of this stuff. Yet the remnants of last week's winter storm surround all of us up here in Monongalia County. Well, on the topic of that winter storm, a couple of WVU swimmers decided to get the creative juices flowing. Instead of being cooped up inside, they went outside and produced a video, except this video was a little different. It garnered the entire nation's attention. Take a look. What was supposed to be just a little fun in the snow quickly became an internet sensation.
We dared my roommate, who's a diver, Mike Proetto, to jump in the snow in his Speedo.
He climbs up on the railing, jumps in the snow, and he goes, all right, now let's see you guys do it.
He dared us to do it, and we were like, you know what, let's make a race out of it. And so me and Chris got up on the chairs and dove off.
Like Drew said, we're trying to make something fun out of it and trying to get on the West Virginia Snapchat story with it, and it worked out.
And that is precisely when West Virginia University swimmers Chris McMahon and Drew Riebel served as comic relief for, I don't know, a couple million people. Shows like Good Morning America and SportsCenter aired the video, turning a couple of WVU student athletes into YouTube celebrities.
And by 4 or 5 o'clock, they had like 1.5 million views. So it was kind of fun and crazy, and they just kept getting more and more requests. And as the night went on, ESPN was asking for it, and Fox Sports, and so it's just kind of a fun thing.
Hey, Coach Huggins.
We challenge you to a race in the snow.
Let's go Mountaineers.
So there you have it, creativity at its finest. Now the guys wanted me to also point out that all this took place because of a bet. I would say Drew and Chris really won that end of the bet. The entire nation saw this video, so really cool to see that. We'll hear from those two coming up this weekend on the Bob Huggins Show, 9 a.m. on Saturday morning.